Cruise ship dry dock news, a brand new restaurant concept, and even a look at a new beach club. Today, we're catching up on the big Royal Caribbean news you should know about. Up next. Hey everyone, it's Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. There's plenty of Royal Caribbean things happening, and I wanted to catch you up on the important news you should know about. Let's dive right into it. Starting off with two cruise ships have recently completed dry docks. Both Symphony of the Seas and Mariner of the Seas completed a dry dock over in Europe, and now they've returned to service. And you might be wondering what's new and different about these ships, and the honest answer is not a whole lot. When it comes to dry docks, not to be confused with amplifications, they're really more maintenance work. Both cruise ships recently went to Spain to get some maintenance work done for their dry docks, and most of the work were minor upgrades and refreshments, but not a whole lot of changes that you might actually notice. In fact, I went on Royal Caribbean's Mariner of the Seas recently to see what was new and different, and truly the changes were quite minor. During a dry dock, the cruise ship is taken out of the water so that not only can its engines, propellers, and other systems be attended to, but the hull can be repainted. So it's out of the water, hence the name dry dock. All the seawater and humid air from the ocean takes a toll on the aesthetics of the ship. In the case of Mariner of the Seas, they did one extra thing, which is to fix that little hole in the back of the ship that resulted from when a cargo vessel made contact with it back in April of 2022. But other than that, most of the changes made to Mariner of the Seas were not really that noteworthy. I think the most noticeable change was the fact that both pool decks on deck 11 and 12 were resurfaced. They were a little bit brighter, certainly. And in addition to that, Royal Caribbean also added some doors, repainted a lot. In fact, the water slides were repainted. The flow rider had its pumps updated. There was some painting on the inside of the ship. And in fact, some of the aft stairwells had their wallpaper replaced. Yeah, very exciting things, I'm sure. Over on Symphony of the Seas, she underwent some of the class work and overhauls. And in addition to all that, she also got some minor upgrades and refreshments. Again, for guests especially, you're not going to notice a whole lot. And if you're hoping or wondering if there was going to be any changes to the cabins or carpeting, the answer was no on that one. Moving on, Royal Caribbean is going to be opening a new beach club in Nassau, Bahamas, and we kind of got our first look at what to expect when it comes to the new beach club because there's a lot that's going in here. Royal Caribbean's new Nassau Beach Club will be opening in the first half of 2025, and this is going to be very different than Perfect Day Coco Cay, which is for all the guests. Instead, this is going to be an extra cost venue that you can go to, but it's only have a limited capacity, meaning not everybody on a particular ship is going to have the opportunity to actually go there. I had a chance to talk to Royal Caribbean Senior Vice President and Chief Product Innovation Officer Jay Schneider about the work being done here. And I asked him, well, how is the beach club different than a private island? And essentially, you can think of the beach club as a Royal Caribbean curated and operated shore excursion. Whereas Perfect Day is a place to go, it's the destination that everybody on the ship can go to. This is an option with the beach club in Nassau, in addition to many other options on there. In fact, Royal Caribbean does not intend for the Nassau Beach Club to be the thing to do, but rather a choice that people have, and it will cost extra. But with that extra cost, it will actually be all-inclusive, which means that alcohol and food will be included with your fare and cost to get in there. Now, in addition to that, it's also going to cover your water taxi ride to and from the beach club. There's not going to be a dock. You're going to take a little water taxi to get there. As I mentioned, the food and beverage, including alcohol, beach chairs, umbrellas, and non-motorized activities like swimming, snorkeling, kayaking, etc. will be included. There will be, of course, also some cabanas that will cost extra if you'd like to do that as well. In terms of the beach, there'll be 3 zones there. The family beach zone, the active pool space, and a quieter beach area on the western end. According to Mr. Schneider, he basically described it as taking the Oasis Lagoon pool over at Coco Cay and splitting it up into different parts. And that's essentially what you've got with their idea for the beach club and the pool areas. But one thing you're not going to find at the beach club are thrills. There's no massive thrill experience like water slides or things of that nature. The beach club is designed to be a kind of a place to relax and enjoy yourself. If you're looking for thrills, well, Royal Caribbean will point to there's many other great thrills to do in Nassau. Now, one really neat thing to see that Royal Caribbean is doing with the beach club is that it's actually going to be a public-private partnership with the people of the Bahamas. And the idea is that the profits from the beach club stay in the Bahamas for generations to come. Now, this comes in a couple different ways. First is equity, because the Bahamians will have the opportunity to own up to 49% of the Royal Beach Club. And that way, they have a stake in what's happening over there. The equity comes in 2 parts. First is the government. The government sovereign wealth fund, which is called the Bahamas National Investment Fund will essentially get equity for the fair market value of the 4 acres of crown land that they're contributing to the project. The second part of the equity is really then individual Bohemians will have the opportunity through an investment fund to essentially buy shares in the investment fund to buy equity into the fund. Of course, there'll be plenty of jobs and opportunities for Bohemians to work there and benefit from the club as well. But in addition to all of that, there's actually a new tourism tax that'll be part of the project that specifically benefits local Bohemians. This new tourism levy is something that doesn't exist right now. It's the first of its kind. Royal Caribbean will be kicking over 1% of gross profits into the new tourism levy in perpetuity. And the purpose of that tourism levy is that new tourism fund to improve other attractions throughout New Providence in the Bahamas. This is something no other company has ever done for certainly the Bahamas. I'm not even sure about other ports around the world, but Royal Caribbean is building this destination to be a true partnership with the people of the Bahamas. So it's not just a cruise line coming in, snagging up land and setting up shop. They want to make sure that the people that surround and live in this area are benefiting as well. Now, this new beach club is one of many new beach clubs. Of course, Royal Caribbean has not provided a whole lot of more information about what to expect there, but this first one will open in 2025. Speaking of the Bahamas, we've also got some interesting news that came out, something to keep an eye on, certainly. And Royal Caribbean might be looking at a new private island in the Bahamas in addition to Coco Key. So local Bohemian news reports confirmed by Royal Caribbean that Royal Caribbean sent a team to an island called Rum Key to look for a potential new destination for cruise ships. Royal Caribbean International President and CEO Mike Billy confirmed that that was in fact the case, that the report is true, but he also mentioned that they send teams around the world constantly looking for opportunities. And according to him, quote, "I wouldn't read too much into it," end quote. In case you're wondering, Rum Key is about 30 square miles and approximately 283 miles southeast of New Providence Island. It's sparsely populated and is mainly flat, and basically Royal Caribbean was looking at about 375 to 450 parcel in the island's northwest corner right by the sea. Whether or not anything ever happens with Rum Key with Royal Caribbean, who knows? But I wanted to keep all of you informed as something to keep an eye on as we move forward in here. And there's one last really cool thing Royal Caribbean is working on, not for its next new cruise ship, Icon of the Seas, but for the new cruise ship after that, Utopia of the Seas. Yeah, so while Utopia of the Seas might be the 6th Oasis-class cruise ship to come out of Royal Caribbean, she's going to have one feature we've never seen before, which is an immersive, multi-sensory dining experience that doesn't have a name yet, but all we know about it is that it's going to essentially be a mixed reality dining train experience. So what does that mean? Well, I had a chance to go down to Royal Caribbean headquarters to see a mock-up, and I have to warn everybody that everything we're seeing here in this video is just an idea. It's a concept Royal Caribbean is working on, but they wanted to give us a glimpse as to what to expect, or at least an idea of what to expect. So with that in mind, Royal Caribbean is developing a new mixed reality experience for dinner in which you could go there, and it's centered around a theme of an old classic train car, some sort of a train from the 1920s, the 1960s, somewhere in that ballpark. But the idea is you board a virtual train. So the train's obviously is physical, but surrounding you, looking out the window, will be a virtual world. And Royal Caribbean is going to use kind of this augmented reality to help make the experience more holistic. This is something we've seen on land at various restaurants. There's Sublimotion in Ibiza, Atmos in Fort Lauderdale, and even Ultraviolet in Shanghai. In fact, some cruise lines have already been working on similar ideas. Disney Cruise Line on the Disney Wish has the Avengers Quantum Encounter, and on Carnival Mardi Gras, there's the Fortune Teller Bar. But these are ideas that Royal Caribbean thinks, okay, these are good starts, but they want to do more with it. They see more potential and a better approach that they want to have in which guests get to essentially pretend that they're going on a train for a meal. And they want to make the experience compelling and interesting and not cheesy. Not like, well, clearly we're eating dinner in front of a screen. They want to make it where basically it combines two major elements: stunning destinations and unparalleled programming. According to Royal Caribbean, the immersive dining experience will transport guests to more destinations than ever possible in a single vacation. The storytelling opportunities are endless, providing a platform for even more unique programming. Now, one idea that they have is that you would go on board Utopia of the Seas in the space where currently Izumi would be located on other Oasis-class cruise ships. There, you would actually see old train signage, which would have your name and your boarding time. And then you would board a train. There will be at least 2 train cars that you go into. There'll be other guests there. It's not just like a private train car, but it's other guests there. So think more of a communal dining. You're sitting at your own table, but there's other people around you. Anyway, you get in there, and you like you're boarding a train. And as Royal Caribbean said, maybe the train will go to various destinations around the world. They haven't nailed it down by any means where, but some places they've been looking are the Southwest United States, Orient Express, Trans-Canada Railroad, Trans-Siberian Railroad, even Polar Express. Fictional places could be an option there going forward. But for Royal Caribbean, what they're looking at is this is a new way to push the envelope of what you can do on a cruise ship. This is why I've always cruised with Royal Caribbean, because they've always been innovators, looking for ways to do more than other lines that are out there. And this new dining car concept, which doesn't even have a name yet, that's not what it's going to be called. They promised it wasn't going to be called dining car. They have no idea what it's going to be called. They're not even sure where it's going to go, but this is something they're working on for Utopia of the Seas and possibly some other ships down the line, of which, of course, we know that there's still Icon 2 and Icon 3. But this is something to keep an eye on, something to get excited about, even though Utopia of the Seas does not come out until later in 2024. Let me know in the comments below, which of this news are you most excited about? And with a dining car concept, what really stands out to you? Are you excited to try this kind of a dining experience on board a cruise ship? Let me know in the comments below. While you're down there, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications. That way, you see a blessing with a brand new video to share. This has been Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, and we'll talk again real soon.